Welcome to the Colour series with Clare Maxfield. Colour is intrinsic to the lives of all human beings. The majority of us see it, some people feel it, and life is definitely described as it. This series will bring to life all aspects of colour, how we respond to it internally and externally. Join me as I take you through the rainbow and further, describing the psychology of colour, how it uses it in our common language, and the evolution of it in fashion as we know it today. In this episode of the Colour series, we will be talking about black. Black is actually, some people describe it as the absence of colour. It's also the absorption of all colour. When there is black, there is no colour. For without light, we can't see colour. And as soon as light comes in and takes over black, colours emerge. But it's interesting how we respond to black. Over time, for many, many years, black was not a colour that was worn at all. It was a time to be feared. Because if you think about initially how people respond to anything is how it is around them in nature. And when you think about black in nature, it is not bunny rabbits. It is some of the darkest, pardon the pun, creatures we know. There's the black raven. There's the darkness of midnight. There's a panther. And of course, there is always the black cat that is associated with witches and all things evil. Not saying all of those creatures are, but they've never been associated with goodness and light. It's dark and evil that comes together. And it's interesting when you think of how black has come into our language. Black forms many words we have today, starting with Black Friday. It started off as the day when the markets crashed and the economy went into a free fall. Today it's synonymous with the first Friday after Thanksgiving in America, when basically the madness of the Christmas shopping begins and everything's on sale. But it was never sort of associated with such a happy or spontaneous time. Out here in Australia, we refer to Black Saturday, Black Wednesday, and these are days when catastrophic fires went through and cleared out towns and killed many people. So they, again, not days that are referred to in any sense of joy or happiness. They are always a sombre occasion. And when you think about the arts, black comedy is very morbid and dark drama. Now, if you get a black mark against your name, you know you've done something wrong, and people will not be thinking kindly of you. Goodness help you if someone tries to blackmail you. Not looking good. And who wants to be the black sheep of the family? Clearly, you don't fit in. And then we have the black market, where all things that are illegal are sold and under the counter and behind the desk. Black has not been synonymous with goodness yet. Somehow in USA, Europe, North America and Australia, black is synonymous with chic, sophistication and elegant fashion. So how did this happen? If we go back in history, colour was primarily, and bright colours, worn by people of wealth. The paupers and poverty, they generally wore shades of brown, as that's what the natural fibres wove into, dull colours. But it was around the 17th century that the Spanish and the Italian courts started taking on the black colour and black clothing, as seen here in the Franz Holz picture on the left. Didn't last long, only 100 years, and then the French brought colour back to the courts, got here an image of actually the Sweden's King Gustav III and a couple of his brothers. But the colour was all around. And then finally, colour started coming into fashion in around the 19th century, when men were wearing the black dinner suit for both, or black tails, for both business and formal attire. And this went on until around 1865, when Edward VII got tired of wearing tails, because the men, he was having to wear them every night, so he got his tailors to cut off his tails and create the first smoking jacket. And the smoking jacket became all the rave. The men loved the fact that they could slip on something that wasn't for those less formal, or shall we say semi-formal, evenings. And in fact, this smoking jacket was later renamed the tuxedo when it became the garment of choice at the Tuxedo Club in New York. And this is how the tuxedo looks today, with the shawl colour and primarily known in black. But what you may not realise, the Duke of Windsor changed it, because he used to have his black one, and he found in images it started taking on a weird, shall we say greenish hue. And he found by wearing a dark midnight blue jacket, it kept the appearance of a beautiful black stylish jacket. So midnight blue became more synonymous with the tuxedo and the smoking jacket. But now, how did black become so synonymous with women? I mean, what woman today does not have a little black dress in her wardrobe, whether or not she should be wearing it? It was all because of Coco Chanel. And it's interesting today, every year in fashion, they will refer to blue is the new black, brown is the new black, burgundy is the new black, because black has been the benchmark of stylish fashion. And if you want to think of it, black is considered dignified and cosmopolitan, mysterious, chic, elegant, stylish, and sophisticated. People will say black looks good on everyone. I won't always agree with that, but black does have a sophistication to it. What you do need to keep in mind, though, that black also has a message of solemnness. It can be antagonistic, arrogant, proud, and distant. Black will put a barrier between you and the person you're speaking to, because it is the colour of mourning, except when you go to Asia where it is white. But if we're talking about Western clothing, black is a colour that can set you apart. So let's have a look here at the little black dress. Elements of it, the further you wear it away from your face, the less impact it's going to have. The other good point with wearing black is that you can wear a cheaper fabric sometimes and it will hide some of the discrepancies in it, which other fabrics are not always so kind to do. Black is great when you want to have impact, when you want to create some distance, and especially for evening wear. As I said, black is a colour for showing respect, and it will hide all imperfections. But again, as we saw before, for every positive there's a negative. So this is when you shouldn't be wearing black, because it closes communication. How many bouncers do you really want to go up to, close and personal, chatting to? Do not wear black to a wedding unless your men wear black, certainly especially to a formal wedding, but ladies wear colour. Unless black is your colouring, don't wear it near your face. And if you're going out on a date and you really want to impress someone and maybe have them put their arms around you at the end of the night, don't wear black. We're a colour that's warm and inviting, but I'll be going into more about that later. And for gentlemen, black has a real impact with you. You can see on the left it starts off very stylish, and then as we go a little bit further to the right, it just becomes a little bit more He-Man, rough, and altogether downright dangerous all the way at the end. As I said, black is synonymous with authority. Barristers, magistrates, dignitaries, judges, they will wear black. Police officers in the 20th century, many of them wore black. It is slowly changing because black really does put that barrier between you and the person you're talking to. However, some areas, if they want their police force to have more power, they are thinking of putting them in black. Whereas areas where they want them to be friendlier, they have changed that colour down to a navy blue. And I used to always say that it's interesting how black is a colour of lawyers. And I actually just Googled the word lawyer, and a lot of black clothed lawyers came up wearing it because it is such a powerful colour. It doesn't broke discussion. It is a colour that people use and talk to. But then if you look at it as a brand colour, how does black fare? Well, let's look at some of the brands we have here. Nike, Mercedes, Honda, Apple, Chanel, Wikipedia even. Brands of prestige, brands of taste. And it's interesting when you're creating your brand, if you want to be seen as having sophistication, style, elegance, market prominence, black and shades of silver will work very well. The other thing I found when I was talking and looking with black is how, depending on where you want your brand to be perceived, Honda for its bikes, the brand is red for the power that the bikes hold. So be aware that people sometimes mix up the colours and where they use them depending how they want to be perceived. And we've all seen how Apple has evolved. Up till now, it is black or the reverse silhouette as a colour. So black is a powerful, persuasive colour. Use it with care and give it the respect it deserves, for the message once given cannot be taken back when you're talking about black. This has been Clare Maxfield for Clare Maxfield Image. And if you enjoyed this presentation, you would like to see more, subscribe to them at www.claremaxfield.com.au and look out for the next instalment where I will be discussing white. Until next time.